Hello and welcome. Just going into the workshop. And welcome back. Welcome to... Oh, what is my beard doing? Welcome to my workshop. If you've not been here before... Blah, 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 blah. If you've not been here before... Sorry about that. If you've not been here before... Jamie, the Worcestershire cabinet maker. I make all sorts of nice things, which is great. And you might know me because I make briquettes out of my... I'm a sustainable woodworker. I use my machines, I make dust, and out of that I make briquettes, and I heat my home with them. And they're great, they last over 2 hours. So if you're either here for the woodworking, great, it's a woodworking one tonight, but I also make briquettes, and I will do a video on those again very soon, because lots of questions are coming in now. Right, let me show you where we were with the bench, and what we're going to do next. So bench is here, it's not moved much, so that's okay. And I want to show you this. So, do you remember this? I said there was some headboards. There you go. I've started looking at cutting this up and found what I did was I've cut the ends off because the ends were sort of rounded and I was going to, oh, it was messy. It was getting very messy. But we can see the joints in here. And the joints are a tiny little tongue and a groove there. I mean, they are tiny. Look at that compared to my finger. That's about 3 millimeters or 1/8 of an inch. But the disappointing thing is, and it's oak, so it's veneered. So sorry, if you've not seen it, this is a headboard. It's a veneered panel and veneered to get decent quality figuring on it. So it looks great, but there's oak underneath it. Great. But the problem has been, let me show you that metric or imperial. So it's about 2.5 inches, 65 mil this end. This end, 45 mil or 1.75 inches. So they're running out at an angle. Not just that, the blooming things are different widths. Look at it. Can you see them? So what I've done is I put masking tape on the end, so that I can get a top line, and then it's French polished varnish type thing. So I've scratched these, but that one's 2.5 inches, that one's 4.25, that one's 3.75, that one's 4.5. So they're all over the place, but I still think it might be decent oak, and it's worth having to use on the bench over there. And I've got 2 of these, so I can get quite a bit of wood from this. So I'm going to freehand cut it on that, do it freehand, can't use the fence because I'm going to taper, and see what we can get done, see what we can get out of here. What the plan is to do is, if it cuts nicely and the edges, the end's great, so if these cut nicely, I can parallel this one back up, throw away the excess, I can cut those parallel from there on, which is great, and then because they're parallel, I can use the fence back on that saw and make it all nice and neat. If that all works and it's okay, then I'll put these through my thicknesser over there, through the thicknesser, take the veneer off both sides, and I've got me some oak for nothing. And it's going to be old oak. These are pre-1940s, so it's probably, it could be English, but most likely French, or I don't think we're going to have American over here at that early stage. I don't know, you tell me. If you think it's American from the 1940s, I doubt it very much. It might be French, it might be English. I hope it's blooming solid. Anyhow, I'll get on with this. The first cut is always the worst, really, without the fence. Making that cut on that taper. But that's done. Now I can set the fence up and set the fence. As you can see, I'm measuring it off. Set the fence so that the blade is right in the centre of that tongue, so that I'm actually cutting that tongue out. So the more accurate I can do this, the less waste of wood there is, which is what I need. Well, it's worked. Done that first, and I've put them all back in order. I've managed to cut through. There you go. You can just see some of the bead. The bead. It's not a bead. What is it? The tongue. I've managed to cut through the tongue. Bit of it's still in there. That'll plane off. Yeah, really good, really good. And the interesting thing is, so don't throw away things that you just think, oh, I don't know, and veneer, you could easily have just thought, oh, I'll skip it. The interesting thing about this I want to show you is, look at the grain there. That grain follows on round there. So I've checked up here, and can you see the silvering, the figuring of the oak? There isn't another part added on in this, so they use the biggest panels on the top of the headboard. Great, but I'm not going to parallel this up because I'll lose so much. Those are ready for the planer now. I'll put them through the thicknesser, and I will get out of there as much oak as I can. That's quite a bit of oak. You wouldn't turn that down. What is it? It's nearly, so if it's pre-40s, it's 60, 70, 80, 85 years old at least. 85 years old. There's some good timber in there. We're going to do good things with that. So, I've got to show you these. That was the tapered bit. This is firewood. That was the detail off the bottom. That was off there. As I said, that was tapered. And these are the ends. And now this has become firewood. It had got the holes in it. And this oak, yeah, a bit of heat for me. That'll help keep us warm, and it gets rid of some of the junk that's in here, because that actually is junk. That's useful. Convert it, put it on the shelves, and then I've got it for the next project, which is probably going to be the bench, most likely. While I'm here, I'm just going to thickness it now. Some of the veneer was bubbled on the back, so I've been careful putting it through to make sure that the flat surface is on the bottom, the cutter knives are on the top. That piece there, look how beautiful that grain is. This must have been look fantastic when it was first made, but it's a shame that the fashion was brown and it had a brown sludgy varnish on it. But anyhow, taking my time, get this right, make sure the grain direction's right to get a good cut on this timber. So there it is. It's oak. It's quite nice. As you can see, I put it through a couple of times. There's a little bit of bow in, but that'll come out on a job. I'll get rid of that, unless it's something on the bench. It's oak. It's worth saving. I mean, that is inside that. And that's what we've got to think about. You know, that could go to waste. It could landfill. It could go. I'm chuffed. I'm really pleased with that, because that is a game changer. I've ruined the continuity. I've cut my hair, trimmed my beard. Yeah, that's what happens. Anyhow, we've had a good day in the workshop. Let me show you this. The guys are getting on with their things, so they're doing well, and they've just gone home. And I've cut this one on the bandsaw, whilst that one, headboard still, whilst that headboard was cut on the table saw. I've cut this one on the bandsaw because I gave it the 2 tram lines. It's just quicker sometimes. I know it's uneven, but they're cut. They just need to go through the thicknesser tomorrow, and then I won't bother with the edges too much. I won't worry about them. The good thing about the bandsaw is it only loses me 2 millimeters, whereas the table saw loses me 3 millimeters for the thickness of blade, which is hidden down there. So I'm off. I'm done for today. It's 8 o'clock and I'm tired, so I've got a little bit of firewood to take. So tomorrow I'll start taking this apart and start working out some sizes, drawings, dimensions and things, and see if there's any hardware I need. I've got to check the hardware. Okay, right, see you in the morning. Hello, welcome back. Oh, God, it's going crazy. Right, where did I get to last night? Last night I cut these through, and it's lunchtime, so I can't just work on what I want to work on. I've got an afternoon student session starting in a bit, and then there's about an hour's gap between the evening class guys coming. They'll be finishing 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I'll see if I can do some after 8 o'clock tonight, but I think I'm going to be back in here tomorrow to be able to get more for this video this week. So, and I've got tomorrow and I've got Saturday. And if I'm really desperate, I can come in Sunday to give you some good content and to move it forward. I want to move it forward. But I do, workshops are my main thing now. So anyhow, this lot has got to go through there. I'll do that. You don't need to watch that. Save you some. That's done. That's 25 minutes of my own of time. Putting it through there. Let me just show you. So that's all of it now. That's the 2 headboards. And what I did was I put the second headboard, as I've just shown you, through there, got it down to about 20 mil, measured the other one that was here, and then put them both through together. So I now know, and this is the things that you have to think about when you're machining timber. I now know that all of those are 19.6 something mil. So whatever I do with any of those, if I mix them up, the only difference really now is the widths, but the thicknesses of those are all exactly the same. So whatever I choose to do with that, I can mix and match and do whatever I want with those. And that's what you guys probably don't realise. But anyhow, all been through. Right, what's next? And a change of plans. Something was in the way, so I've had to put all my PPE on and get this thing out of the way to make room for the timber. So I'm meant to be getting on with that, right? But let me just show you what's been happening. In order to do that, I've got to go through the beach I've got, and I've started putting it on there. So I've ended up tidying up some of this. And then I need to get to my saw, and after the headboard, which you saw earlier, I need to move some of this around, and what was in the way was this job. So, and this is what can happen sometimes. So I put a piece on around the perimeter of this the other day, and I've had to plane the top of this. It's basically a new top on this. This was cut down, as you can see, it's a bit rough. And I've glued and clamped it on, and I've dovetailed the nails, pins, they're 1.5 inch pins, through there into that. It's very similar to what it was. So I didn't want to put extra timber inside to support it, because you're losing space, and there isn't much space in there. Let me show you. The first shelf is only 5 inches from the top. So the first, in fact, you can see the shelf, it's there. So it's only about 5 inches. So I didn't want to restrict it by putting battens inside. So I've glued it, clamped it, and yes, the glue is Type Bond 3. Glued it, clamped it, dovetailed 5 pins in there. It's a little bit overkill, but if somebody tries to move it by the top now, this little cupboard, if they manage to move it by the top, then at least it's going to stay glued together. And I've put a strip of timber down the inside of here, right at the back, only a thin bit. I might show you later, we'll see. That's done. So that's ready to go tomorrow, which frees me back up to get on with the bench again. And this is what it can be like. I've had evening classes, I've had afternoon classes, and there are things in the way. It's life. I have to just get on with what is in the way and to be able to get to what I need. So I know the place is a little bit cluttered. I've got to do that one of the days. And I've got to do all... I've done some of this, which is good, and I've gone through some of this. As I say, this is the beach. That's some oak. This is a thing I used to do for Michelin star restaurants and 5-star hotels. So I've got to clear some of that off, but what I'm trying to do is just make more space, because that bench is going to need space. And really what I need to do is I need to get my shave horse out the way, get all this out the way, so the bench can have this corner. And I think if the bench has that corner as I'm building it, I won't have to keep putting it in and out. And I've got to find somewhere for it while you're doing it. That's the problem. Anyhow, what's next? So I've got that together. That's ready to go, which is good. And I've been tidying up. And I've been tidying up all of this, all under here, and putting that oak. So that oak that was on there is now in there. But it's behind some more oak, because I've found some more oak to put on that shelf. So that's good. I've done a bit more tidying on there, which is sort of good, but it's not getting the bench done. So I'm not very happy. I'm happy I've got things done, but I've got to get back on this tomorrow, and I've got to start sorting out just how what's next. So I'll do that tomorrow. I think the first thing to do is obviously get the top off, sort heights out. I know what it is. Yeah, we're going to get the top off in the morning, and we're going to start sorting heights and where I'm blocking up and how I'm doing it. And because the top will be off, I'll be able to see this rail and sort that out. Yeah, lots of messing, but blimey, it's got to be done. I've got to make sure it's right. Got some of my student work down there. Some more student stuff, bits there. This is people come and do things. So. This is quite interesting. Fence panels. I'm cutting these to length so they fit in these boxes, old fence panels, and these will get used as shingles. Or we get use these as shingles, and I'm probably going to Yakasugi blowtorch. So I might have to, we'll see how they go. But it'd be interesting to do something with those. There's a lot of wood there. Fence panel was a bit broke. The wood's all right. Okay, it's not a very pretty colour, but so that's all cut up. That can go out of sight. And yeah, tomorrow. And I mean, it's 20 to 9 on Friday night. To add to my problems, my glasses have just broken. The screws fallen out my glasses. So I've got no glasses, so I can't see very well. Close up, it's only close up. So I can see things and get on with things, but I couldn't do anything on the saw, and I couldn't do any other. Glasses tomorrow morning. I'm going out buying glasses. As if you try to move forward. I mean, this looks good. This looks, I mean, look at the floor. You can see the floor, it's grey, if you wondered. Right, see you in the morning. And just like that, it's 3:15 on Sunday afternoon. I didn't get any more to the bench. I've done a lot of tidying up, a lot more tidying up than I've shown in the video. And I'm moving forward. The workshop's moving forward, and I'm making that place for the bench to sit. So I just want to say thank you for following along. Thank you for subscribers, new subscribers. And we'll do more of the bench next week. Thanks for watching.